W- Will the recording be shared with attendees or?
If you'd like us to share the recording with you, we'll share it with you.
Thank you.
Yeah. What we intend to do is put it on our YouTube channel so that people who missed out on this session do have some sense of what we like them to do with the packs that have been put together by Marvin. And just a formal, big, warm welcome to everyone who's come, and a really big welcome in terms of from Northamptonshire Rights and Equality Council. We're doing this as part of our lead up in the run-in to a contribution to Stephen Lawrence Day, which will be on the 22nd of April. And what what we've done is commission Marvin to help us with this. Just to give you a little bit of background about Northamptonshire Rights and Equality Council. So our core work is discrimination advice on employment and in goods and services, immigration advice, and we're accredited to do that, and also hate crime support done by the amazing Jenny, who's here as well. And we also do kind of public legal education on people's rights not to experience discrimination. We're a membership organisation. If you'd like to join us, head to our website. If you want to find out more about us, please follow us on our social media, and that's at Northants REC on Twitter and www.facebook.com/Northants REC on Facebook, and at Northamptonshire REC on Instagram. So I'm going to hand over to my colleague Jenny, who will just tell you a little bit about the focus of this session.
Okay, I think, Angela, you've actually wrapped it up quite nicely for us. As hate crimes worker, we are commemorating 30 years the anniversary of Stephen Lawrence's death. And to be fair, things haven't really kind of progressed as they should do. We are still in this week seeing in high media profile the lack of police interaction with communities who are the most vulnerable. Even in today's Northampton news, we know there's been another death of a lad that was stabbed. Now, there's yet to be more information to be released, but we do know that he was mixed race. Now, because we know that in order to be challenging hate incidents that we might be facing on a day-to-day basis, we need to be strong about ourselves, about what we identify as, and that people come to terms with it on our terms. And part of that is using creativity to express ourselves, be it through all kinds of media, writing, music, visual arts, and just being how we carry ourselves, hey? So from that, can I just request if you can mute yourselves while Marvin is going through the actual workshop. If you have any queries, you're quite welcome to put in the chat or ask there and then. I'm sure that'll be okay, because we don't want to lose anyone. Yeah. So thank you. Is everybody safe with that? Yes. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Marvin.
Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's ready. Like Jenny and Jonah just introduced. My name is Marvin from Lemon Pot Workshops, and we provide therapeutic workshops, development workshops, based on the philosophy that art making is central to healing and wellness. So today's activity, we're going to take you through a few little steps that I use, call it my little secret, which allows me as a graphic designer, as an illustrator, as a graffiti artist, just enjoying myself in my own life. It's just a process that I've discovered that helps me to achieve results, get solutions, and just to be creative with whatever I might be presented with. And within the pack that everyone might have is a sheet called Write, Draw, Create, and Make. You have in there canvas. You should have a set of coloring pens, some little pencils as well. You got a permanent black marker and a pencil and some paper as well alongside of it, just for taking notes and just capturing your ideas onto a piece of paper. Someone said earlier, oh, I'm not an artist, I'm not good at drawing. Perfect. That's what I love, because everyone's creative in their own way, whether it's doing hair, doing nails, or cooking, riding a bike, skateboarding. Everyone's got a different skill. That type of skill makes you relevant, makes you unique. We're all different. We're all unique in our own special way. And once you start to realize what makes you unique, you start to live a unique lifestyle. You start to live a different lifestyle. Oh, that person is unique. Oh, that person is different. Well, you can't look at yourself. Other people look at you and they can tell how different you are. So with this exercise today, we're going to look at ourselves, find out what makes us unique. Yes, of course, we are talking about Stephen Lawrence, but the ideas come from who we are. I'm a poet. I'm a rapper. I'm an artist. So these ways of creativity only express what's within me. So what we're going to do is find out what's inside of you. I ask everyone in our workshops, who are you? I think Thomas knows that one. He's been in my session before. Who are you? What makes you unique? What makes you interesting? So what we're going to do, I'm going to take you through the steps that we're going to do to create this canvas. What are we here talking about? We're here talking about Stephen Lawrence. I myself, I'm a graphic designer. I'm an illustrator. I'm a graffiti artist, which is where I started off mainly. And when you look at graffiti, oh, how is it going to let me share this? I'm just trying to share with everyone a window. There we go. Graffiti is a form of customization. Now, that's another thing that I base everything that I do on. It's called customization. One of my programs is called Customize Your Life. It's about taking something, giving it a new identity. So it has a new purpose, has a new meaning. So it represents something totally different. So that's what we aim to do today with our canvases. These are some of the things that I do as an artist. And I might take something, give it a new identity, so it represents something else. But within that representation of something else, I'm taking something that has an original way of looking at it, changing it aesthetically with something that I love, and it's going to represent my culture, things that I love. When you go in your wardrobe, we all don't have the same clothing. We all pick something that makes us happy, but makes us unique. That's what customization is about. Taking something and giving it a new meaning to re-represent something that represents you. So these are some of the things that people have come up to me and said, Marvin, could you help me customize? As a graphic designer, same process. Companies will come to me and ask me, Marvin, could you come up with a design or a logo that's going to help our business connect to the right people, connect with the right messages, say the right words, have the right colors that's going to represent our values as a business. Who are you? What makes you unique? So by taking something and giving it a new representation is revolutionizing it. When people go to protests, they all don't stand there with the same board. They're all standing there with words that mean something to them, mean something to what represents them, that's come from their background, their understanding of what things mean to them. I'm a poet. When I stand on stage or watching other poets, it's amazing to hear the same perspective that I might have, but hearing it from a different perspective is always inspiring. It also shows you that we're all connected. Those phrases like we're all one, which might seem cheesy, but when we're talking about meaningful protest, things that you want to stand up for, that you stand up for, that means something to you, then we realize that we're all talking about the same things. These are examples of something that participants that I've worked through have created through some of these perspectives. Now, some people might say, I'm not good at drawing, but your words are unique. Now, what this process is going to do is take some of those words and change them to pictures. That process, write, draw, create, and make, is what we're going to do. We're going to write a small list of words, phrases, sentences, things that come to your mind, a conscious play of words that might come to you. I suggest you write that down. That's what we're going to use to develop into an idea. So I don't want to speak forever because I can talk for England. I just want everyone to get started. As you can see, some of that artwork was done by people who are not so confident at doing artwork, but I've developed this process that makes it easier, makes it more intuitive to come up with words that we're going to change into imagery. And from that imagery, we're going to create a design. We're going to select the most meaningful images, words, combine them to create something that represents your emotions about how you feel about Stephen Lawrence. I'm going to share with you a poem that I did for NREC before. Here we go. Just going to share. Don't know if you can hear it. Or to be loved. Whether it's being accepted for being different, a different skin tone, a different culture, or having a difference in opinion. We are all different, unique, and need freedom to express our uniqueness. When ignorance and intimidation are encouraged to flourish, guidance is non-existent. You can hear the fear. You can taste the hate. It's easy to stereotype, scrutinize, and ridicule something you do not understand. Without respect, there is no trust. Without trust, there is no peace. Injustice is allowed to roam free. We all need love, or to be loved, to recognize that we share the same values that nourish our well-being. Before we seek acceptance from external forces or others around us, before we express our values, we need to learn to accept ourselves. We need to learn to love ourselves. Only then can we accept our differences, recognize our differences, and accept each other's uniqueness. The reason I showed that is it's a stream of consciousness of words. Now, with my imagination, some of those words, I would write them down and I would start turning those words into pictures. So I would rough to get one of us to get started because I don't want to keep talking. I want to make sure we kick it off. So in your sheets of paper, on the first page, there is a blank space that you can use. You can either use a blank piece of paper, that is fine. It doesn't have to be that piece of paper. You can literally use any blank sheet of paper. That's just a guide that I use in workshops to help people to guide them sometimes. Some people get lost a little bit. So on this side of the page, you've got this page, a worksheet that allows you space to start writing a list. So when I say, who are you? we're writing a list of things that have affected you, that things that come to mind, a stream of consciousness that inspires you, words that have triggered you, words that you're passionate about, something that when you think of it, could be a song, lyrics, a card that you saw, a sticker on the back of a car, words someone said that triggered you. Today we were talking about the what's happened in Northampton. So that could be a big trigger at the moment. How would you reflect on that? How would you feel about it yourself? So using a sheet of paper, you can just start writing words from that stream of consciousness, words that it's a shame. You could start off with there, whatever is on your mind. This is building a list. On the front sheet of that paper, it says write, draw, create, and make. The process is to write a small list, a few words, like I said earlier, a stream of consciousness, something that might inspire you. It might trigger you. Let's see if I've got something else here. Earlier on, I went on YouTube. On Google, and I typed in protest art. Now, this is something that anyone can do. As soon as you type protest art, you start to see all issues, especially at the moment, Black Lives Matter, anything to do with women's rights, all this type of words keep coming up. In whatever background, in whatever who you are, we're all special, we're all unique. In all our walks of lives, there is something that has represented injustice, misjustice, an opportunity of where something was wrongly done on someone. You might have witnessed it, or it might have happened to you. It doesn't necessarily might have happened to you. At Lemon Pop, we like to focus on imagination. The last poem I wrote was used based on imagination of the perpetrators of the crime. What was lacking inside of them? What would someone do? Why would someone behave that way? I had to place myself, use my imagination to find out. So what words come to your mind? Using your interests, we're all unique. Some of us are into cooking. So when you're cooking, you could use aspects of the things that you love. We always say we're cooking up a meal when we're developing ideas. These are phrases that someone in your community can really understand your words. When I work with young people, I encourage them to use their language because they read posters every day. Don't do this, put the knife down, stay away from crime. They see that all day long. We go to the NHS, to the doctors, we sit there, there's a poster in front of us. We hardly ever read those. I'm a graphic designer, so I understand. So it's about those conversations that we have, those personal words. As a rapper who stands on stage, my punchlines have to include words that are going to connect to that community of people who might be observing me. Do I relate to them? What do they love? Do they love what I love? Do they respect what I respect? If something was disrespected in my community, what would they say? What would I say? What would it look like? At this stage, for the next 10, 15 minutes, we're going to go through the stream of consciousness, come up with as many words as possible. After that 10 minutes, we're going to look at those words and start changing them to pictures. You can still do that now as part of the process as you go along. The process is write, draw, create, and make. When I say draw, it's to expand what that word means. We talk about values. I do workshops with young people. They're quick to recite their school values, but they hardly understand what they mean. So when we write something down and you expand what that word means, you get into depth. What does that word really mean to you? Would I come to you? Could you expand what that would let me know what that, I don't know what that word means. Maybe I might need your help to expand what that word means. Maybe my ways of understanding are a little bit limited. That word you have written, by expanding it, is either drawing a picture. You could have written bread. You could think of, I like creative writing is about word association, for example. I could say bread, jam, sandwich, lunchbox, field trip. So each word that is written can take you on its own little journey. We're almost writing poetry, but we want to create imagery from these words. So when I ask you, who are you? What do those words mean to you? For example, injustice, hate crime. You must think of examples that might come to your head. I'll flick through these. Some of these are quite interesting. Some of them are buzzwords that might trigger. Someone will write community. What does community mean to you? We're all different. We're all unique. We all come from different backgrounds. We all do different things as our pastime, for enjoyment. That's what makes us unique. What makes you happy? If you include on your list things that make you happy, they might help you and guide you to start seeing how injustice might play. So I add those. Who are you? What makes you unique? What are the things that you love, you enjoy? It could be food, it could be baking, it could be an outdoors activities, it could be whatever it is that makes you happy. When you do it, time flies. You forget who you are. Oh, I have things to do. In 2 hours I've been doing this, I have other things to do. So what are those things about yourself? They make you unique. As this process goes, you will start to see some of those things really connect with the list that you're processing and creating. Another one I saw today, which was quite interesting. So that one was quite poignant. But that one was really. If someone would say equality, what does that look like to you? What does equality mean to you? Equality means something else to someone in a different community. Unity means something different to someone who works in a different environment from where you work in. So what does that mean to you? What does peace mean to you? Stephen Lawrence at his age was robbed of his peace, of his freedom, of his liberty, of his rights. There was no unity. Justice. That's a big word. Could we talk about equality when it comes to that whole situation, the whole case, seeing where we are today after what has happened, what the family went through? Who are you? What makes you unique? What do you stand up for? From the things that you like, what couldn't you live without? I think there's a couple more examples I might have here. I thought this one relates to me quite a lot. Doing graffiti, it's all about expressing yourself. The colors speak out. As graffiti artists, we're really putting our words in front of people, suggesting to people, this is what makes us unique. We're bringing people to our perspective. So this is an opportunity for you to bring your words to perspective. What makes you unique? What are the words that inspire you? For someone like Jenny and Jonah, what makes you do what you do? If you can answer if you want to, I'm more than happy for people to jump in. Either way, you can inspire other people. Your story might inspire other people. You just never know. And the reason why we're sharing these pictures afterwards is to create a video. We would love to show other people what other people can think and their perspective. So we'd love for people to take pictures of their photo, of their list, and of their final canvas as well. At the end, we're going to do a evaluation, which is at the back of the pages, and that you can take a picture of that as well and send that to us as well. That would be really much appreciated. So at this stage, with this list, I would encourage you to start changing some of those words to pictures. So for example, emojis are a great way. I'm studying the Netta, which is the hieroglyphics. So that is visual language, the base of all language that we all understand. So when you look at emojis, I could say the meow meow was chased by the woof woof, ran up a tree and scared the tweet tweet. Now, I'm sure in your visual mind, you can see that. You don't have to be great at drawing. It could be a fat bird, fat circle with tiny little wings and a little beak. It could be a stick man or stick bird. As long as we know it's moving from left to right and an arrow, that's fine. You would have said a lot by just putting it down. My son, 8-year-old, drew a car, a rectangle, square on the top, circle underneath, 2 circles, squiggly face of myself. It says, Daddy, that's you. It's terrible. I don't tell him that. I say, thank you, son. It's amazing. I'll hang it up. But at least you can see, you can tell the story. I'm an illustrator. People come to me and I encourage my clients to draw stickmen because it helps me to understand exactly what they say. And if it's a list of something that you have drawn that you really understand, you would be the best person to help me understand, help to expand those pictures to words, those words to pictures, excuse me. Who are you? What makes you unique? What do you stand up for? I would love to see this at this stage. When I'm doing a live workshop, I start walking around. This is when it gets really interesting because you can start seeing people's minds, how people are. And as a designer, this is where I can start helping. But here's another thing. If you're not good at drawing, I use shapes. Shapes are a great way to expand into something. Everything is a basic shape. And when you base it on shapes, even you start to create something that's unique, different, that you might not have imagined in your own perspective. So it's just an encouragement using shapes. Expanding those words to pictures. I'm an alien. I've come from a different planet. What does that word mean? What are you talking about? How can you help me understand in the simplest word format or pictorial format? I'm sure I can start, I'm going to start helping you guys out. When I think of unity, when I've done murals for community, all the time, they always suggest, we want to see some hands, Marvin. Can we have some hands in there? Maybe different races holding hands. Okay, I understand. No worries. You can have hands if you want. So you can have things like stars, universal images that help people understand. Some of those images you might think might be cheesy, but they actually really are universal and represent. When someone else sees your artwork, they might really relate to what you have put down on your list. and what your images turned out to be on your canvas. This process I'm giving you allows me to make decisions that are beneficial to my well-being, my happiness, my success. Whether it's me being gluten intolerant, it's helped me to shape my dietary requirements. It's helped me to navigate as an artist to offer my clients the best solutions. And if you apply it to your life, it helps you to solve solutions. And maybe you might be hanging around the wrong people, creating the wrong relationships. So it might help you to evaluate your own decisions. When we talk of hate crime, at times it might be placing yourself in the wrong place, creating yourself a perspective where you can gain better perspective of where you can go. It's all about your well-being, happiness, and your success. Who are you? Your words, your pictures, your imagery that you might create might inspire someone to think differently, to look at things a little bit differently. Since at the moment, there's this talk, there's the news, very current news of a young man who's just lost his life. What advice would you offer? What would you say to the young perpetrators? How would you look at the police? How would you look at the family of the victim? How would you look at the young man himself who's the victim? What do you think would have happened? How would it have happened in his mind during that process? Who are you? Imagination is a great thing. It allows us to go to dark places. It allows us to see happier places. It allows us to travel. Imagination is just not thinking of things that don't exist. If I said, go to the shops and get your favorite food, you know you're going to go out there, maybe it's in the car, or walk out the road, turn left, get out of the road, hit the traffic light buzzer, wait for it, cross over, go left, turn it. In your imagination, you have already created a plan. We're creating a small plan right now by writing this list. And try and be specific as well with some of those words. It's too general to say justice. It's too general to say freedom. What does it really mean to you? If I wrote that list of the things that you love, and if I took it away from you, or if I disrespected the things that you love, what would you say? Would you say that I am showing the same values that you are showing about your stuff? So those things are your values that you have on your list at this moment. If you look down on that list, those are your values. I go to a lot of schools and a lot of young people can quick to recite the school values, but do they really know what they mean? Adults are quick to tell young people about values, but do we know what values we uphold? At times, things like mental health and things that are negative to ourselves usually befall on ourselves by not being in the right place and not knowing who we are. When you don't know yourself, you might end up doing things that don't benefit your well-being, happiness, or your success. Right, I'm not sure how far people are going. Is anyone brave to kind of show their list or their process at this stage? You can just, thank you, Thomas. You can just flash it up. That would be great. Awesome. Oh, wow. Love that. And Jonah, do you know you're sharing? And do you know, oh, that's nice. Empowerment. So you're doing it in a different way. Gathering images, putting words together. That's great. Love that one. Love Thomas one as well. Can we put that? I don't know if I can put that, make that bigger. That's great. So now that we're at this stage, I know we're moving a little fast. You can progress to your canvas if you want to. But if you want to take your time with this, as you don't have to hand in your canvas straight after this session, you can take your time and do it until the actual date that we have to hand it in. I'll flash it on the screen again later on. But if you'd like to, you can. However, you've got pieces of paper that are in your pack that you can use to now create your design. In this stage now, I encourage you to, it's a selection process. Which words, pictures, images mean the most, are the most relevant to you, are the most meaningful to you. You can put an order on them. If I was writing a poem, this is the same process that I would use. Which words are going to have an impact on that crowd? Make them go, ooh, ooh, he didn't say that, did he? How dare he say that? So what words have impact? What words have real value to you? What pictures can you use that would really send a message to other people from your selection of words? It could be a combination of words and pictures, or just selection of words, or selection of just pictures. It could be one that you have selected from your page that means the most. It could be 2 or 3. The next stage is to create a layout. When I talk of favorites, I look at logos. You've got logos from companies where that show us a shield, a cross, a layout, a preference. They put a sun at the top, a sun at the top, the moon at the bottom. They put wind on the left. They put water on the right. It's a layout. Someone has just decided that's what means the best to them. What's the best layout for you? Do you want something on the top? You're going to have words on the top. You're going to have pictures inside the words, behind the words. You're going to have speech bubbles, and you're going to have a protest banner. Is it a protest word like a banner? If you were standing at a protest, someone can see it from afar and say, whoa, I'm not playing with that person. They mean business. Who are you? Or are you funny? Are you good with humor? Maybe your words have got humor in them. Or are you a cook? Maybe your words have got some kind of food influence into it. Are you into sport? Maybe using sport is something that helps you to connect with people so that they can understand what you mean. I've worked with the Premier League. We've done workshops with young people in Birmingham, and we focused on the red flag, and that was great. You'd love to hear what young people would say on stuff like this. It's very interesting. So young people are very opinionated about stuff like this. It's a shame sometimes they're not heard, because sometimes young people don't know who they are. They're not sure if their communities can accept them. But when you give them a platform, wow. So who are you? What makes you interesting? What makes you unique? What words, what beautiful words, what shocking words, what experiences have you got? What inspiring words? What perspective can you bring? Who are you? By the end of the day, you're all going to be saying that. I want to make sure by tomorrow morning, that's the first question you ask yourself. Who am I? Hopefully you've got that list, so it's not going to be a hard question. Something to start from. And that list builds. It builds. Every day I go on YouTube, I'm always learning. I would add whatever I'm learning onto my list. It builds, it grows. We're always forever changing. And you might have forgotten about the things that you love. Think about when you were younger. You can put them on there too. when you express who you are, people can see the confidence in you. People can see that you mean what you say. You express yourself in a way that other people can understand. They'll be willing to listen because it's an expression of who you are. I can see everyone's heads ticking at the moment. I would love to go around and see what everyone has come up with at the moment. This is when it gets really interesting too. I'd encourage you to use color. Color is about character, charisma. The lads, the boys, the men who were who were perpetrated on Stephen Lawrence, they wore one color. There was no character in them. In fact, they showed more fear. What colors can you express from you? What do you love? What colors inspire you? What colors bring you joy? Hey, Thomas, I hope you're giving her a piece of paper. I'd love to see what she can draw. She's giving her a piece of paper. Yeah, wicked, fantastic. What makes you unique? It could start off as a poem even. You could start off with words that rhyme, leading to that. Now, as a poem, you've got visuals. You saw my poem earlier. All the words I was using were very emotive, very visual words. You can almost replace most of my punchlines with a picture. That was the aim of it. I sat through a process like this and I focused on how the listener, how the viewer was going to take it, which inspired my delivery. So that's your words from your list are going to inspire the design that you're creating now. That design, when you do implement it onto your canvas, you already can start to see how it might shape, the colors you might use. Is there a background in there? Earlier on, I showed one of the pictures on there. One of the pictures was actually done by Jenny. There was a background in this. If you've got materials at home, paints, colors, acrylics, all that type of stuff, stickers, stick them onto your canvas, expand it, make it 3-dimensional. Who are you? Show an element of who you are within that picture. Yes, we're aiming for protest words, protest art, but it makes more sense when you include the essence of you, who you are. If I show young people an artwork that says, hey, don't do crime, they're not going to listen. But if I include some buzzwords, yo, fam, what you're doing over there is not going to benefit you, you know. If I speak in their language, they are going to really, really pay attention. So who are you? What makes you happy? What makes you interesting? What makes you unique? If you could say any word, 3 words, what would they be? I would write those down. What is your message to the world? Now, it doesn't have to be those. I'm throwing all these darts at you, hoping one of them is going to stick and take you on a journey that's going to help you to express something that maybe you might have not had a chance to. Some people hadn't had this chance to say what they really want to say. I'm hoping there's an opportunity to do that. Maybe it's a lyric of a song that you always listen to, that inspires you. When you look at that, if you was to write that down on a canvas and look at it, hang it up somewhere. What would it say? Who are you? I think my favorite saying of this week that I actually wrote down and I came up with is, if you don't know who you are, you're probably spending time doing things that are not benefiting your well-being, your happiness, and your success. Sometimes you don't need a lot of money. Sometimes you just need the clarity. That's going to help you. But the clarity of who you are. What are you going to develop? What are you going to go and study? If you don't know who you are, you might be acquiescing to someone else's benefit for them, not for you. But when you start to understand who you are, nothing really stands in your way. Yes, you might have to take 3 months, 3 years to do a course, go on YouTube, take 10 minutes to learn something. But as long as you know who you are, it becomes a lot easier. Someone might perpetrate it against you, but once you understand who you are, it's easier to get over, to understand that it wasn't your fault. It's probably their fault for not understanding who they are. Who are you? We're all different. We're all unique. We're all special in our own unique way. And once we start to express that uniqueness, we start to enjoy our lives. Start to connect with other people. We can end up helping other people, whether it's by words or through our own self-development. So like I was saying earlier, you don't necessarily have to do your canvas right now. You can take your time to do it throughout the evening tomorrow. Tomorrow's a Friday. Yay. If you've got time, you can spend time doing that. The deadline is Thursday, the 6th of April. So you've got till then. But I would encourage you to design it. Use that process. I've just given away my secret here, which is write a list. Draw and expand it out. Create by selecting the most meaningful solutions from that list. And make your design. That will give you the confidence to go onto a blank canvas. A lot of people are scared of the blank canvas. What am I going to do? Now, with this process, it's easier to understand what you're going to do, how it's going to look, where it's going to go, even color. Even use color on the piece of paper before you start to do it on there. This is your draft. This is your final. Once you create your draft, it gives you confidence. It allows you to understand how to navigate. So who are you? I know some after this, it would be great if you take your pictures of what your work was. I do encourage you to take pictures of your list, please. Also pictures of your the design, pictures of the canvas. And we're going to do a quick evaluation in the next couple of minutes. And that will be amazing. And that will be, at least those 4 would be amazing to send over to Jenny. That would be really appreciated. Thank you. I'm going to do a quick evaluation. Hopefully I can have a look at some of everyone's pictures in a minute after the evaluation. But at the back of the there's worksheet. On there is a list of things which of these words describe what you feel about this activity. Take the ones that apply to you. You have fun, engaging, easy, gave me new ideas, valuable, confusing, boring, inspiring, creative, motivating, new, not interesting, challenging, want to do more, exciting. So any one of those, you can tick however many you'd like to tick. Not all of them, hopefully. And then underneath that, you got, how do you rate your experience? 1, I've gone for 3. I used to have 5, but I've limited them to 3. 3 allows me to understand the level. Was it a basic workshop? Was it competent? Or was it assured, that leaving people assured and understanding how it went? So 1 meaning, Marvin, that was okay. You know, you need fireworks next time. 2 meaning, ooh, that was reasonable. And 3 meaning, whoa, you got to my psyche, you got to me, I understand, I'm in depth, I overstand. So if you put your mark in there, that'll be really appreciated. In the last 3 boxes, it says, what did you like or enjoy? So in there, I suggest things like the experience that you went through. If you're new at art, if you not really enjoy art sometimes, just be honest. Anything really. You didn't like my lighting, you didn't like my hat, fine, I'll take that, put that in there. That's cool with me. My voice a bit, yeah, I haven't had my tea. I kept talking without sipping my tea. What did you learn? If you feel like you learned something, whether it's the content, whether it's the process, whether the images that were shown, what can you take away from this process? And the last one would be overall, what did you think about the activity that NREC has put together today? I like hashtags. Hashtags are a great way of explaining stuff. So it could be a hashtag that you can use in those boxes that can help you to say things and express yourself sometimes. I find hashtags very great in the sense you just narrow down to what it is you want. So you can use hashtags as a way to say how this process was. And I'd like to thank you as well for taking part. Is there any other information that I might need to share? Jenny, is there any information that you would like to?
All right, so I've put in the chat that the deadline to send us pictures of your artworks is the 6th of July, April even. And I've got my email address in there. If you can send them directly to me. Can you hear me? Can people hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, my email address is in the chat. Can I just ask, because I don't know everybody here, is there anyone here from the African Youth Arise group? Ah, brilliant.
Yes.
Okay, so there's 2 of you. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Cool. So good to see you. So I don't know if you've seen the packs that I've left at the Keystone Centre. I left them a few days ago. If you can distribute them to your folk, if you haven't already. I'm not sure if you had the packs in front of you. It didn't really matter in effect, but you know what to look forward to. And in the end, they're stimulants rather than that's what you've got to use. Yeah. So yes, and Marvin will create a video from all the contributions. It might be an idea to take pictures as you're progressing, Marvin. Yeah, you know, from that draft stage to when you start getting really kind of, you know, indulgent about yourself in it, to the finished piece of work. Obviously, you don't want to we don't want to have 25 pics of the same project, if you like, but you know, you think you know something that'll be significant, that you know you've grown within that piece of work.
That list is actually a great way as well. That list, when you look at that list, if you really engaged in it and you look at your list, it will show you. So that's why I suggested taking a picture and carrying on with it as well. You will find there are things you might have left out about yourself that make you unique. So. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all work in progress. You know, this is just, especially with the young people that you are working with, or you know, in your families, or you know, your professional life. It really is, as Marvin describes, giving space for people to be able to express themselves, identify. Of course, that moves with every experience, with as we get older, with who we meet and come across, and so on. And it's all good. It's all good. So thank you all for helping tonight to make this workshop work. It will be YouTubeified and you will have access to share with other people. If you need any more packs, I have very few left, but there are some left. I can't actually see me on the camera at the moment. If you can just, Marvin, if you can take your, I just wanted to show this. I know it's backwards, but it does say buzz because that's what I kind of felt tonight. I hope you're all as feeling as excited as I am, and I'm looking forward to seeing the work. And it's, as I say, it is just a trigger. There is so much that can be self-grown from this. It'd be an idea also with the evaluations, once you get your packs, that you just take a picture of that as well. I think that will help towards how we can develop this further, because we will be having future events, and we just want to know what works, what doesn't work so well, and we can only know that by you giving us honest feedback. Yeah. Is there anything else on Janelle?
Just to say, let's give a bit of love for Marvin for what he's delivered
Thank you,
today.
Marvin.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
And thank you everyone
Thank
for coming, and particularly Jenny, thank you for kind of looking after us on this particular Zoom. Thank you. So with
It was
that,
really enjoyable. Thank you. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It's good. Yeah, really good.
so bear in mind what Jenny's saying about sending us stuff, sending us feedback. But with that, we're a little over time, so we're going to close it down for now, and we're really looking forward to seeing what you've created. And again, thanks everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Great.
Creative, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.
everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well done. Thank you.